All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my rant channel, TMossBoss Rants. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Steam machine prices. Because here's the thing, for those that are unfamiliar with, I guess more so the Steam Deck. So when the Steam Deck came out, everybody was just hyped over the fact that it was a handheld gaming PC in a way. Now, I'm all for handheld gaming because I was a PSP kid growing up. So, yeah, anybody that's going to be interested in handheld gaming is going to be me. I put work hours into the PSP. Yeah, when they because it was when them black yeah, it was the first ones that came out, them black ones, and I was all like, oh yeah, I was getting any and every game possible for it. There were games because like at the time the PSP, I don't think they had too many games that were like it was just strictly made for the PSP. I think for the most part, they were trying to like whatever game we got coming out on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, whatever, we got to release a version of it for the PSP. So there was a lot of the games that were coming out. Then it wasn't like how it is today, where they got like the console version, then they got like a handheld gaming version, and then they got the like the PC version and stuff. And usually the PC version is gonna have the best features and stuff, and then the console version it's going to pretty much like so you know how like some games have like their mod systems and stuff. So the console version is pretty much the basic version but without the mods. And then then the handheld version, it's just it's you pretty much playing the game on the lowest settings and stuff. And what else? And then on top of that, your what other things is there with it? It's just it's not like how it would be on the console and the PC version and stuff. So, but when you look at the Steam machine, you're thinking along the lines, okay, this is going to pretty much be like a low end gaming PC. It's not even that. It's a low end gaming console, and that's the thing where it's like you're making a game for this. Like, so I guess to explain the difference for somebody that's not really into gaming or doesn't really know. So think of them like of Microsoft making a low budget Xbox, right? At one point in time, it was low budget. I mean, to see these Xboxes and PlayStations double in prices, that's kind of crazy to me. But, anyways, but no, overall, though, imagine if Microsoft made a low budget Xbox, but it only could run half the games. That's pretty much what the Steam machine is. They're coming out with a console that's only capable of running half of the games on Steam. So let's say, for an example, there's a game on there, Helldivers 2, right? Let's just say Helldivers 2, or even, you know what, there's a game where it's you can it takes a lot from your PC to play it, and luckily for me I do have a decent gaming PC to play it. But there's this extraction survival shooter game called Gray Zone Warfare. Now that's a game that I would imagine that can't run on Steam, on the Steam machine. So pretty much like those games, like the games that you see everywhere, like they got it on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. So like a game like Cyberpunk 2077 or Batman Arkham Knight, like them front runner games where it's like, oh, is this game playable? Yeah, those are. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, them games have been out for some years now. It's like, of course, those games should be able to run. But what about the newer games? What about Grand Theft Auto 6? What about the games that haven't came out yet? Marvel's Wolverine. What about those games? And to have it where I'm spending $1,000. So no, this is the prices. This is what I wanted to talk on, and it's just now hitting me. That people are being robbed. People are like really being robbed when buying the Steam machine. So to get the basic model, and this is what's crazy about it because there's four different price points, right? And I know people are like, well, wait a minute, like what? So the base model is just it's the Steam machine controller, and like that's it, right? The basic model, the $1,049 model, comes with just the Steam machine. You don't get no controller, you don't get no mouse, you don't get no keyboard. It's just the machine itself. Now, from what I remember in my gaming history, right? Every video game console that I've ever owned, from a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, I had bought a Xbox, the original Xbox from this retro game store, but even they gave me a controller. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Even when I've gotten gaming PCs, they at least give you, it might not be a high end mouse and keyboard, but they at least give you a mouse and keyboard. The Steam Machine, the picture that you're looking at right now, that's all that you get when you get the $1,049 edition of it. Then they have the same one. So, and it's a 512 gigabyte. So they only have a 512 and a 2 gigabyte one. And so then they have one with the controller that's $1,128. Then they have the 2 terabyte one that's $1,349. And then they have a 2 terabyte one that's $1,428. And that's with the controller. So the 2 terabyte, the one that's $1,349, it doesn't come with the controller. And so I'm assuming that Steam probably thinks, okay, a lot of the people that do have, or I guess that's that knows about this, they probably got a gaming PC or a console, whatever, and they could just use that controller, right? But my question is the my like let's say if I decide I'm like, okay, well, I already have an Xbox controller, I'm not going to get me a Steam controller because that's the controller that they're advertising with the Steam Machine is their own controller. Is my controller going to be compatible with the Steam Machine? Like, meaning if there's a game that's on there and I going to have to like rework the buttons and stuff just for my Xbox controller to work? Because if so, why don't you guys just give away or just have it where it's like, okay, there's the Steam Machine controller and then there's like a basic model. So like, yeah, there's like the high end controller and then there's like the low end controller and stuff. Why not just do that? And what's crazy is that I know that before they had to have been paying attention to what the conversation was when it came down to prices and all that stuff with gaming and things. RAMs going up, gaming PCs is going up, graphics cards is going up, consoles is going up, video games is going up. Literally everything in video games is going up. Controllers, headsets. I'm trying to think what else. DLCs. I'm trying to think what else, like subscriptions and all that stuff. Everything surrounding gaming has been going up. I have to say since I'm trying to think. Probably, yeah, no, since the Xbox One and all. Well, no, because I think when did they bump the price up to 69.99? I think when they did that, that's when it was like, okay, gaming is starting to get a little bit more expensive. 69.99 for a video game where it's only it's not what gaming used to be, where it's like if you get a video game for 69.99, you were gonna get a little bit with it and stuff, and that's why I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, back then 69.99, that was like the discount prices for like them special edition video games and stuff. But now it's like 69.99, that's standard. And that might not even be the full video game. That might just be like a tech demo or something. But my thing is this, right? Steam had to have been paying attention to the conversations surrounding prices and all that stuff with video games. And you guys still decided to release the Steam Machine for the price that you're asking for. And so, and I think they did say something along the lines. They was like, if you don't like the price or whatever, then go out and get you a gaming PC or an Xbox or a PlayStation. You might as well do that anyways, even with the Steam Machine. Like, let's just say that this was the best console on the market. Still, you're not releasing everything. It's cheaper to go get you a gaming PC or an Xbox or a PlayStation. And that's why I'm like, nah, bruh. To have it where this game ain't even gonna be, or this console ain't even gonna be able to play all of the games. There's gonna be some games on there where it's like, no, them games are not gonna be able to be played on the Steam Machine because it's a pretty much it's a low end gaming PC. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you could go out because I think they were saying that there's a computer, either it was on Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, but it was like $800 cheaper, and you can get you a keyboard, a mouse. It might not be the best, but still they're giving you something to play with. Eventually they're gonna probably be all like, oh, I feel like that it's gonna be on something where everything surrounding the Steam Machine, but it's like gaming is just gonna get even more and more expensive. They're gonna be like, oh, if you want USB plugins on your console or whatever, you're gonna have to buy that separately. PlayStation is already doing it with the disc drives for the PlayStation 5s. They talking about, so for those that haven't really been following gaming and stuff, and this, you just clicked on this video because you just wanted to get a little educated. Gaming right now sucks, I can tell you that much. But so they had the PlayStation 5 Pro, And instead of releasing a disc tray with it, so you know how like you could get you a disc, a video game, the disc video game, and then put it in the PlayStation. They had it where you had to buy the drive separately. So let's just say you was like, oh, I want to get the PlayStation 5 Pro because that's the best PlayStation on the market. You if and let's say you have like a bunch of PlayStation 4 games that you want to play, you would have to get a disc tray or a drive separate with the PlayStation 5. It doesn't come together. Not like how it did on the original PlayStation 5 model and every other PlayStation that they've ever released. That's why I'm like, yeah, right now, gaming seems like it's more of a scam than, hey, after you had a long, stressful day at work, school, or starting a business or whatever, you just want to come home and play the game and stuff. There's just too much requirements to play the game. But the Steam machine, what would be the reason besides you being that person that reviews video games on whatever latest technology that's out? What would be the reason I'm buying it? Because my thing is this: if it can't play the games that I have in my Steam library, and I have a lot of games, I think over, let me just check real quick my library and see how many games I have, because I have a lot. It's over 600 video games. I have over 600 video games on Steam. Do you think all of those games, it might not even be half of those games. It might be some classic games that came out a while back, and then there's going to probably be some modern games, but it ain't going to be playable like how it would be on an Xbox or a PlayStation. So that's why I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna pass on the Steam machine. I might get it when it's at a cheaper price, or if Steam is all like, hey, we want you to review our Steam machine and make some videos on it, that'll be the only way I'll do it. But other than that, to go out my way and buy it when I have myself a gaming PC, a Xbox, and a PlayStation, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. It ain't like it's no revolutionary gaming like a handheld gaming PC, stuff like that. And even then, still, and I'm like, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, it's gonna be something like the Steam Deck, where it's like, yeah, it's only gonna be able to play the games that's allowed to be played on it. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just confused by it. But at the same time, I'm like, it's just, yeah, I no, there's no defense for this. There's no it's the Steam machine is a scam. The thing is this: I love Steam as a platform. I love how they have just about every video game that you can play. But for the most part, I'm like, yeah, with this Steam machine, nah, bruh. I think a lot of people, they gonna just stick with getting a gaming PC, or if they have an Xbox or a PlayStation, just go ahead and play games off of that. But I'm like, to go out and get you $1,000 gaming PC console, whatever it wants to be considered, and you don't even get the stuff that you would get with an Xbox or a PlayStation. I mean, even with PlayStation, they might not, in my opinion, the PlayStation, it's not the best console on the market. I would say in order, it will probably be Xbox, Nintendo, and then PlayStation. PlayStation, I just feel like it's more of an entertainment system. Nintendo, I feel like that it's never a time where they release a game that's like bad. So like when they come out with video games, and even having it where you can play a lot of their older video games, like from Nintendo, the first Nintendo 64, GameCube, and they're still collectively adding more games. Yeah, and I'm like, with PlayStation, I just, I don't know. I maybe if they did a little bit more with their subscription service, then I think I would have a little bit more to say about it. And then in my opinion, yeah, Xbox is the best, because I'm like, so you subscribe to their highest tier service. Not only you could play your games on the Xbox Game Pass games on the Xbox, but you could also play it on a gaming PC if you have one. So that's why I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, when you look at all the different options out there, and then you see the Steam machine, it ain't really an option. It ain't even an option that's on the table for me. So, but I know there's gonna be some people out there, they gonna support the Steam machine, and I'm not gonna take that away from you. If you like it, hey, more power to you. So, but anyways, with that being said, yeah, I just think that the Steam machine, it's a little bit on the scamming side. It's no disrespect to Steam. I'm like, maybe if they lower the price and give a little bit more with it, then okay, cool. But if not, then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if they had it set up where it's like, hey, if you get the Steam machine, there's a code, a voucher to get one free game of your choice on Steam, and that goes for all games. So if you want to save the voucher for a while later and stuff, and then get a game that's coming out that you don't want to pay money for, then I'm like, if they did stuff like that, then okay, cool. But it's like, to have it where it's like, I'm buying this, and it's like, okay, now what am I supposed to do and stuff? So yeah, I'm like, that's just crazy to me. But anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.